Hello, this is the Fifth Star Podcast. I'm Jamie.
I'm Albert.
And this is a podcast where we're trying to find our next 5-star movie. And when we find that movie, this podcast will be murdered in a unsolvable way.
So in this episode, we are reviewing Wake Up Dead Man, aka Knives Out 3.
Yes.
So Rian Johnson is back with more. We wrote down what we secretly gave the movie on this whiteboard.
Yes.
And first, we're going to guess what we think each other gave it, then do spoiler-free review first.
Yep.
So, Jamie, I think you gave this a 4.0 out of 5.
Nice.
You're trying to throw me off.
I think you gave this a 3.5.
3.5. Gonna share our spoiler-free thoughts, and then we'll reveal our scores. So,
yes.
What did you think of Knives Out 3? Well, I guess first, before even that, What did you think of Glass Onion and the original Knives Out compared to
Okay. I was going to say, I think I like this on the same level as the first one.
Okay.
I didn't really like the second one. It was fine. I think it got a lot more hate than it deserved, but it's not a great movie. I think I gave it like a 3 average.
Okay.
But Knives Out and this one, I thought they were like basically on par with each other. I was like, okay, it feels like he's kind of going back in the direction of trying to be more philosophical or deep with his movie instead of just being a straight up murder mystery whodunit.
Yeah.
So I liked that aspect a lot.
Yeah.
And I also thought Josh O'Connor did a really good job.
Yeah, Josh O'Connor did a great job. I mean, this had a stacked cast.
It did.
I mean, like Glenn Close, you had Josh Brolin, Jeffrey Wright, and on and on. The one casting thing that I thought didn't really work for me was Mila Kunis. She plays kind of like the sheriff in town.
Yeah.
And she kind of felt a little bit like she's playing dress up in like a cop uniform.
Pretending to be cop.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she's only in like 3 scenes.
Yeah.
Or it felt like 3.
But I think aside from her, I'm Jeremy Renner. Like, it just had such a stacked cast.
Yeah.
And I thought the ensemble cast did a great job.
Yeah.
And this kind of been like a staple with this Knives Out franchise now. But I agree. I think I also wasn't a big fan of Glass Onion.
Right.
But really loved the first one. And this one, it's neck and neck for me too.
Yeah, I can't. I'm almost like, is it better than Knives Out? I have to rewatch Knives Out.
Yeah.
And then maybe rewatch this one back to back.
Yeah, because I didn't rewatch Knives Out before watching this. I didn't want to kind of like, taint my viewing of Wake Up Dead Man. But even from memory, the feeling of this movie is different than Knives Out. It's interesting that you say like he's kind of going back to being philosophical, and I guess that's partly why I felt like Glass Onion didn't work as well.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really seem like it was saying a few different things about like technology and things like that.
And like wealthy people.
Yeah, but Knives Out had already kind of done the wealth thing.
Yeah.
And this one is like now talking about things like faith and church and religion, organized religion.
And guilt and shame, I thought. There's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
These themes of guilt that they're almost all the characters are kind of dealing with.
Mm-hmm. And I thought like in this one, like the first part of it, essentially you have the 2 main characters being established even before Blanc comes into the picture.
Right.
You have Josh O'Connor playing Father Judd, and then you have Josh Brolin playing Monsignor Wicks. And like they're diametrically opposed philosophically, personality, and all that kind of stuff. Monsignor Wicks is all like this kind of authoritarian, like strong alpha type leader.
Yeah. Fight.
Yeah. When you have like new people come into his church, like he basically like calls them out and casts them out, like embarrasses them.
Yeah.
And just holds on to this small like cultic type of like group.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Father Judd, who's like the completely opposite, very compassionate, and he believes that church should be like welcoming, and that's what faith is all about. So I thought like that juxtaposition was really well done.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows like 2 different views of religion, of church, and so Rian Johnson did a really good job, I think, in those 2 characters, like portraying this idea and this like dichotomy.
Yeah. There's like this interesting almost take on masculinity a little bit too. Judd's character, part of his backstory is that he was a boxer and a fighter. So he does come from this very masculine background.
Yeah.
But now he's entered into this more tame and loving priestly position. And then whereas Wix is like, I'm a priest, but I'm also extremely masculine, and I'm going to like put others down, and I'm going to make myself look better, and I'm going to, fight the wicked and all this stuff. And I don't know, I thought that was an interesting, like, to me, Wix came across as like extremely insecure in his masculinity.
Like he's overcompensating.
And that comes out a little bit in his confessions,
those were funny.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like on the one hand, because like they're in a Catholic church, right?
Yeah.
Rian Johnson, he grew up actually evangelical,
right? Protestant.
Yeah, like not Catholic, but he kind of sets this story in a Catholic church, and there's like a lot of stuff that's happened in the Catholic Church, a lot of things that have been revealed, and so people have a lot of really strong opinions, right? Especially not only with organized religion, but also like it's particularly the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And so that was like a good choice to use that as like the framework. But while like there is all this commentary on kind of religion and faith and things like that, Monsignor Wicks also seems like a stand-in, like a social commentary for Trump.
Whoa! Unpack it.
I felt like that was pretty on point, because you have him basically, being all about like, we're going to attack the other.
Attack.
Yes. And in doing that, you kind of like galvanize your base of supporters.
Yeah.
And find your power in their support, right? And so even in Monsignor Wick, like he has just a small group of people like in his inner circle, and as long as he has them, like he doesn't care about like the other people on the outside, right? He's not trying to reach out to anyone, and he uses like intimidation and fear and all these kinds of things to basically cast those people out and set he basically says this whole thing about like it's about us fighting the world, but Father Judd is like, no, we shouldn't be fighting the world. We should be like embracing them and serving them. Yeah. And trying to like reach out to them, bring them in.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to read that into it, like as a political commentary, it's all there.
I do see that, but I also kind of saw Wicks as like a failure, because his church was kind of failing.
Yeah. Well.
But like Wicks would never, I don't know.
Oh, like he wouldn't be able to get enough
people. He wouldn't be successful enough to like fully
create a following.
Yeah, because clearly he failed at that. Like his church was dying.
Yeah, that's true.
His congregation was like not growing at all. I don't know, but the rest of it I can see it.
But there's also like all these elements of conspiracy theories, because there's like a person, one of his followers is like, using the internet and social media as like a way to promote a certain type of message and, all that kind of stuff. And then this whole idea of like, it doesn't matter what happens in reality. Like once something's out there and conspiracy starts to brew, like it's never going to die. It's never going to go away. So there's like that element of it that the film explores. Yeah, like the truth
matters less than the story.
Yeah, and then you have like the truthers who are just like till the bitter end, like I'm gonna hold on to this like kind of conspiracy. It's interesting because like Rian Johnson writes those kind of elements in, but I think to your point, it's not like necessary to understand what's happening, because on the base level of even just talking about faith and religion, that is already interesting and compelling enough.
Yeah.
And one thing, I think the thing I loved most about this film was probably like the way he wrote this commentary on faith.
Yes.
Like I was actually surprised.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised watching it, because I was like, this doesn't feel like it's just written by someone who like hates religion all out, or like it felt like a very balanced view.
Yeah.
Like giving the kind of good and the bad, the pro and the cons, and the reality and the struggles, and like all of it was kind of there together.
And I think that really comes through with Josh O'Connor's character, Judd, because he is a incredibly honorable character and has a lot of integrity, but he still has flaws and he still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really good job of showing like, oh, there are, you know, people who are faithful, who are trying to do their best.
Yeah.
Who aren't just either hypocrites or perfect. Because I feel like those are the two types of faith characters that we see in media.
Yeah. It's
and I
very
liked
like
that
the extreme ends, right?
Yeah. And I liked that he really struck a harmonious middle.
Yeah. And, you know, like the bad stuff of like people like Monsignor Wicks, like there are religious leaders who are like that.
Yeah.
There are people who are, you know, use that as a platform for their own power and their own vanity and their own like, you know, enterprise and all this kind of stuff. So like he shows the good and the bad in a way that feels like honest. And it was to the point that like I knew nothing about Rian Johnson's like past. But watching it, I was like, this has to have been written by someone who understands, like who's been on the inside.
Yeah.
It's not just being written from an outsider.
Yeah.
And so then like reading up on his past and listening to interviews, like
I did the same thing.
Oh, you did? Yeah. So you like grew up in evangelical like Protestant like family and church, and wasn't just kind of like a casual churchgoer, but he says he was like really, really devout, like into his early 20s, to the point that he says like everything about the way he thought about life and the world and everything was like framed through that faith. And then he walked away from the faith. So he's not a believer anymore. But in the interview clip, like, or in the article that I read of an interview with him, he's basically said, when something is that profoundly integral throughout so much of your life, like you can't help but kind of keep coming back to it. So I think
shapes your worldview.
Yeah. And so even though he's not a Christian anymore or not religious, like I think he comes from a place of like understanding and like understanding what drives some of the people, like what that faith means to them, the ways that it can be really authentic.
I think he is both characters. I think he's LeBlanc and Judd. Like he kind of can identify with both characters really well, I think.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the two sides of him kind of warring it out subconsciously.
Yeah, a little bit, but then also they get along really well.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. So that part of like the writing and his exploration of these themes, I thought was really, really well done.
It was.
And I really appreciate it.
And the writing and a lot of the dialogue, I thought they did a really good job of like not being cheesy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, in terms of the mystery, what did you think of the mystery part of it?
So I did guess the whodunit almost immediately.
Okay.
But there was no way I could have guessed the howdunit. So I still enjoyed the ride because I knew that was still a mystery. But I thought they were a little too obvious with the who this time.
Okay, so I'm
trying to be really careful.
Yeah, in spoilers, we'll have to unpack it more. I think when the reveal happens of the who, it's not anything that is shocking.
Yeah.
Like at some point along the way, like I had thought also. I thought there was one clear giveaway that we can talk about later in terms of the who. But the part of the mystery that I liked the most was this like locked room kind of mystery.
Which was cool.
Yeah, which is like apparently like a trope within mystery novels where you have this impossible crime, locked room, and is like there's no way in or out or whatever.
Nobody could have gone in.
Yeah,
there.
So like how did the murder happen? And there's a literal like little room alcove thing that is part of this whole mystery. When the how gets revealed, it's really smartly done where it's like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. And I think what was kind of the fun part of it was that all of it was like there. I mean, there's some revelations that come out along the way that flesh things out.
Yeah.
But essentially a lot of that is like there for you if you were able to kind of see it.
I'm gonna have to watch it again to make sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because I haven't done a rewatch, but I watched the review of someone who did a rewatch, and they were showing clips
of like every clue.
Yeah, some of the clues, and sure enough, like a lot of the things are like right there in plain sight.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like
so
that.
That's really well done. I think
Yeah,
it's very smartly written.
I also want to comment on the cinematography choices or the lighting choices. I really loved how so many of the scenes shifted from cloudy to sunny, multiple times throughout a scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if I've seen a movie really do this before. For indoor shots, especially. Where it's like, I mean, it's really obvious when LeBlanc first shows up because it's like super sunny and pretty, and then it gets really gloomy.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear a cloud has like gone over the sun.
Yeah.
And then the sun comes back later on, and it was just really cool to see that. And then it also feels very symbolic.
Yeah.
To the conversations and stuff.
Yeah, it was a little on the nose.
A little too much. But
I mean, because literally,
I don't know if it is on the nose because I still haven't decided what it means yet.
Well, I took it as essentially someone is out there with a massive light, like a 20,000.
No, metaphorically.
Watt. Yeah, but like, and then whenever they're talking about faith and things like that, like the sun comes in, it's like the light of God shining on
yeah, but then what is Rian Johnson trying to say? Is he trying to say that faith is the answer?
Well, I think by the end of the movie, I don't think that's what he says.
So that's why I don't think it's on the nose, because I think the meaning is still a little unclear.
Yeah.
It's like, what was he trying to say?
Yeah, I think in spoilers, we'll have to unpack that a little more. It is so interesting kind of how he resolves everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that he really fleshed out some of the themes as well as they could have been.
Yeah.
But I guess in terms of like that lighting choice, it felt like in the moment he was just trying to kind of differentiate between like the faith and the reason, and like the coldness of reason and the kind of magic, the mysterious, like mystical element of
that's good.
The divine.
That's good. It was obviously a very intentional choice, which makes it a little bit cheesy. But at the same time, it was cool because it kind of felt like we were in that church.
Do you think that you like the first one better or this one better?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have to rewatch. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to rewatch both of them.
Without rewatching the first one, I think from memory, I think I would still pick the first one slightly ahead of this one.
Okay.
And I think it's because this one had some funny moments, like especially in the beginning. And there's a little gag with Glenn Close about rocket ships that I thought was really hilarious. But that
the
aside,
first one is funnier.
Yeah, the first one is funnier throughout, like in just kind of the tone. And I thought that was part of the magic of like Knives Out.
Yeah.
But this one, it pretty much for the bulk of it is like a pretty straight, sincere, like kind of more earnest film.
I had the same thought, and I feel like Glass Onion was too much funny.
Oh, okay. And this is really the other way.
Yeah.
And it works for the themes. And so I thought it was a good marriage of that.
Yeah.
But if I was to pick, and this is where kind of your rewatchability element comes in, it's kind of the tiebreaker for me. If I had to pick just rewatching one of these, I probably would just rewatch the first one because I just felt like it was more fun throughout. Like all the
this is hard
because even the characters in the first one, from what I remember, they're a lot more just like funny and they're more like caricatures.
Yeah.
But that creates a certain vibe to it. Whereas this one, like everything is just much more serious.
But it's so tricky because I think this one kind of goes deeper.
It does. The first one. Yeah. It does feels more meaningful.
That feels like a rewatchable thing because the more deep a movie is, the more you can glean from it.
Yeah.
On a rewatch. So I don't know.
Wow. So you're really like neck and neck tied.
I think, I think I'm going to rewatch both of them back to back, and then I will make my decision.
Okay. All right. Well, let's reveal. So you thought that I would give it a 3.5 out of 5, and I gave it a 4 out of 5.
I also gave it a 4.
Yeah.
You got it right.
You were making it sound like you were at like a 4.5.
I don't know. I would consider it. But the thing that made me settle for a 4 is that I realized it's not quite like... Basically, this year I haven't had a 4.5 yet when we do our ranking episode. And I was like, I don't think this is number 1 of the year. And that's like what got me to kind of say it's a 4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then there were still like a couple elements that weren't perfect about it. But overall, I really, really loved it. So
yeah.
And Knives Out, I also gave a 4. So it's still tied with that one.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't ranking when we did Knives Out, but I think I would be like almost at a 4.5, if not a 4.5 on Knives Out.
That makes sense.
But I would have to rewatch it. So, okay, getting to spoilers.
Yep.
So you thought that you knew who had done it.
Yes.
And so at what point did you realize it was going to be Glenn Close?
Almost immediately. The flashback sequence when she's describing the whore, the harlot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When she's describing the harlot story, I was like, Glenn Close did it.
Oh, you knew it was like an inaccurate
because
narrator?
She was literally the only character I suspected the entire time.
Really?
Basically, yeah.
Huh.
I had like a little glimmer of like, there's no way that Judd did it. Because that's sending the opposite message that I think Rian Johnson was going for. So I didn't suspect him, and then none of the side characters. I definitely didn't suspect Jeremy Renner at all. So that surprised me. Mm-hmm. But then I did have a theory that she was working with the priest to like fake his death. Mm-hmm. And then later on, I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. So, but yeah, she was the only one that I suspected the whole time. Yeah. And I kept being like, come on, when are they going to reveal that it was her? It was totally her. I know it. And I think it was because she was too much. Like, she was the only character that felt a little crazy to me. Yeah. And that made it feel obvious.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe from her too, and that's what made her so suspicious. Like even when she like first shows up, she seems like the crazy lady.
She's like
almost like a witch that lives in the back of the cathedral kind of thing. Yeah. And but it was done for humorous effect. And she also is the one that seemed the most passionate about like the history and like the church, that she would do anything to try to save it or help. Whatever.
Yeah, and I knew they had to connect those stories. She was the only connection between them.
Yeah, that's true. I think my suspicions were between her and then Monsignor Wicks, because I thought, he's going to fake his own death. I thought it was him faking his own death.
Yeah, I did too, yeah.
Yeah, so that he can, resurrect again and then lead this like movement and whatever
become the next cult leader.
Yeah, exactly, because that's definitely the way he was trending. And then the third person was, I actually kind of was thinking it could be Judd, just because he's the only narrator and we have to just fully take him at his word. And then he's writing the letter, so all those things were pointing that way. Yeah. And then so in the middle of the movie when he does the
why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, and then he's like, because I knew you would find out anyway or whatever, and so that's right. And then so that whole little bit, I was like, so he did do it, but it's only in the middle of the movie. Like I don't understand what's happening. And then it turned out, he just lied about a little side thing, which that whole thing was kind of like this random detour.
It's like a little red herring.
Yeah, and then it kind of kept making me think, like, wait, so is he still now they're trying to walk that back?
Yeah.
But then are they going to flip it again at the end and say he did really do it? But I agree. I'm glad he didn't, because that would have just ruined the whole,
it would have
what he stood for, right?
The whole message of the movie would have been like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What's the theme here?
Yeah. So I'm glad it wasn't him. But I thought the part that was the biggest giveaway, I think, for Glenn Close, was probably when the fact that she found the broken glass after Judd had thrown the little knob, and she said she found the broken glass, but she didn't find anything else. That to me was really suspicious, because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. She's obviously hiding it, right? And
she
why?
Obviously found it.
But I thought the movie still did a good, even though it kind of kept switching all over the place and kind of, I think all that did throw me off the scent, and I never could really you for sure.
Okay.
So I wasn't as confident as you. And then so when he does the reveal, I was like, oh, okay. But it's not surprising. It's like, you kind of, it makes sense within who the characters are.
Right. And I think the way they did her confession was really well done.
Okay.
Like, I liked that whole scene and how she like turns it into a confessional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only is she confessing her crime, but she's also just like confessing to the priest or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was like, I liked her performance and that scene from her character standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
The part that didn't work for me was Blanc in all of this, because like he comes in like the second half of the movie essentially, and he's just like watching and trying to figure things out, but he's very like reserved. Like he doesn't really say what he's thinking a lot of times. A couple times along the way, he goes like, "Oh, I don't really know," but clearly he, when he first shows up, he has a standoff with Judd, and he's saying like he believes only in reason, right?
Yeah.
And Judd stands for like faith.
Right.
And then that theme, I feel like, didn't really go anywhere, because at the end of the day, Blanc, he's kind of like, oh, like, I don't know in the end, but he does know. He's just like lying so that he can give Glenn Close like an opportunity, Martha, to confess for herself, right? And I thought like what would have been more interesting is if this whole like wake up dead man resurrection thing was actually potentially like a possible miracle. So if it had actually been a potential miracle, like Blanc really couldn't understand what could explain this, then he would actually have like this crisis of, wait, are miracles like true? Is it? But there has to be another way, And that conflict, I think, was kind of missing in this like faith versus reason theme.
Yeah, but I think people would have been mad if it ended with Blanc not figuring it out.
Yeah, but in the end, he can still figure it out. But it just like that, like his armor never really cracks. Like once we see the resurrection, because even the resurrection, I was like, whoa, what is happening here, right? But then they reveal it like pretty quickly in terms of like what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you had done that earlier, and Blanc really is like, I don't really understand, because then once he reveals that he's kind of known all along, and he's just been kind of keeping his cards close to the vest, then it makes you kind of question like, oh, so did he just know right from the beginning, and he's just been playing this like facade? And that just like isn't as like interesting. It's almost like Blanc has become too all-knowing, which is part of the way I guess like these detectives work in these mystery novels.
Yeah,
like they're just like Superman, and they just kind of know everything.
I guess I wasn't really even thinking about LeBlanc in the whole movie. I was purely focused on Judd. Like Judd, I was just thinking about Judd's character arc.
Yeah, and
I didn't really care or think about LeBlanc's.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem,
Maybe.
Because Judd was really well fleshed out, and especially...
But the main character of all the Knives Out movies is never LeBlanc.
It's never Blanc, yeah.
He's never the main character. And that I think that is because he's almost a god character in all of these movies.
And from hearing the way Rian Johnson talks about... I mean, I don't know, have you read Agatha Christie novels?
Yeah.
So the way he talks about it in interviews is like, that is kind of the way the detectives work. Like they're never really the protagonist, and they kind of just show up, and then
they're plot devices.
Yeah. Like they help give you the answer at the end.
Yeah. They help weave it all together for you. But the main characters are always like the culprits or the almost murderers or whatever.
Yeah. But I guess that's where the movie was pulling him in to maybe mean and stand for something more, and yet it never really like got fleshed out. So yeah, that's the part where I kind of wished there was more of like kind of Blanc being developed.
Yeah. As far as the actual Eve's apple thing, I thought, the name of the gem, I'm really glad that they like wove that back in, because to be honest, when they brought it back up, I kind of forgot about it. But it made a really satisfying arc. And I think the Eve's apple name is a little on the nose, but it's kind of perfect, because it's this whole idea of temptation and sin is something that we all seek because it grants us power. But by giving us that power, we end up, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like it corrupts you. And I thought they did a really interesting job of showing that in all the different characters throughout. And just seeing, like, okay, who's going to fall prey to the temptation?
Yeah.
Versus who will do the right thing.
Yeah. It always promises something, and then for those who dare to try to grab it, it destroys you, right?
Yeah. But I love that Judd's character is faced with the same temptation at the end, and he chooses it to hide it in the cross. And I was like, that is cool, because he even says, to Jesus. Well, he even says to Sai at the end, your inheritance in heaven is like so much greater, or something like that. I don't remember. And so he's basically implying, like, if your inheritance is Christ, then that's like the greatest inheritance of all, or whatever.
So he doesn't need the earthly inheritance or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before, but I think there is this through line of guilt throughout the thing, because each character is dealing with their own guilt and weight of that. And what's super interesting is that Glenn Close's guilt is that she's held on to this secret for so long that it's kept her from ever confessing. And, like, throughout her whole lifetime, basically, she's carried this guilt of, like, never confessing. And then when she finally does do it, she confesses to the wrong person. And instead of doing Judd's approach of, serving the wicked, she instead kills the wicked and attacks and fights and takes Wick's approach. And so and then that keeps snowballing, and she keeps kind of killing. And I think it's so interesting that by her killing, she takes away each of those characters' chances of redemption. But then she still gets her chance of redemption at the end.
Oh.
Which is really interesting, but only after she forgives Grace, or gives Grace. And that kind of, like, tied it together for me, because I realized, like, oh, it was her piety and resentment towards Grace that kept her from serving the wicked.
Because she was being too judgmental.
Yeah. It was her piety in believing that she was better than people like Grace, rather than showing them grace. Which the name's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
But, like, it's only in her dying breath that she hopefully realizes that. And I just thought that was really cool. There's this, like, sense of there's, like, this sense of freedom that she gets from being able to finally realize, like, I am no better than all of these people that I judged my whole life. And anyway.
I don't know that it hit me as emotionally or on such a deep level. Like, I didn't see a lot of that in kind of her arc. But yeah, it was all there for sure.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Judd had always stood for throughout the film.
Yeah.
Like, he's somebody who had murdered somebody, and so he always knew he was no better than the people he was like,
he had been humbled,
ministering to, or people who were reaching out to him. Again, there's, like, so many things, like, in this movie that just feel really authentic to kind of the good and bad and the struggles and all of that comes with, like, faith and religion and
humanity.
Yeah.
And I wonder if people will be upset that Glenn Close's character had a chance at redemption,
because they feel like she should have got justice.
But
she still dies.
She still does die, but she kills herself.
Yeah.
But I think Judd's had another quote that was like, I'm not here to bring justice to the world. I'm here to serve the world, or something like that. And that I think that kind of demonstrates how, justice is a good thing, but we are all sick people who need help.
We need help, and we need redemption.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I hope that theme comes across, but I don't know.
I mean, it seems like most people are liking this film, and I've heard from different people, like, oh, this is, like, even better than the first.
Wow.
I mean, I've heard some reviews where they're like, I just like don't want to have anything. I don't really care about like priests and stuff anymore. Because there's a lot of movies about like corruption and, you know, like stuff like that within the Catholic Church. And and so I can understand people just being turned off right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But do you think those kind of faith themes like kind of distracted from the Knives Out mystery part of things?
No, because I think they ended up working together.
Yeah.
Because that whole theme of guilt and judgment is very, you know, throughout. And even Judd's whole character thing with the woman that's calling him on the phone, and then she's like super annoying.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Wait, could you pray for me?" And suddenly that's like his revelation of like, "Oh shoot, I've been so worried about figuring this all out and kind of becoming a judgmental person because he's judging every suspect, right? And then realizing like, wait a second, I'm here to help people. Like, this is a human being asking for help, and this is my job, and this is what I'm supposed to do." And I think like, you know, even if you're not a religious person, that is still like a good lesson to think about. Like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't be, you know, judging everyone and deciding if we're better than them.
Yeah, like he's like a good model for like kind of the good of humanity that yeah. I mean, I think overall, again, it was kind of a gutsy choice for Rian Johnson to make it so personal, but I love that he did it. You know, like this is a pretty big franchise. You know, he had a contract to do like 3 of these or 2 more after the success of the first one with Netflix. And in the interview that I heard of him with him, he said that for each of these Knives Out movies, like he didn't start writing until he felt like he had like a different direction he wanted to take Knives Out. Like he didn't want to just like rinse and repeat like the same formula. So he wanted to make it different and feel different and explore different things. And that definitely comes through in this one. Yeah. And so it's like a bold choice. I love that he went for it.
Yeah.
And I think like it really does work well. I don't know if this is going to have any Oscar kind of potential.
Probably not.
Yeah. There are good performances, but yeah, it just seems like not necessarily.
It's not what the Oscars is looking for, I feel like.
That's true.
There's nothing terribly revolutionary about it.
Yeah. It is one of the better movies of the year, though, I think.
I think so, too. Yeah. It's definitely in my top 10 that I've watched this year.
Yeah, and 10 Best Picture nominations, you know. But, yeah, it does seem like it, from what
my
we're
favorites
seeing now,
never get Best Picture. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to probably not get a nomination. But if you watched it, let us know what you thought. And
you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Letterboxd, or Apple Podcasts.
And join us next time as we continue our quest for the 5th star.